So welcome everybody to the Go Champions League match between Flipsid and Dignitas. The Danes managed to win Inferno 16-10, and Flipside had a fairly good CT side with 9-6 at the start, but then they just fell flat on their face and lost 10-1 on their CT side. Oh no. So, pissed around, going live just now. Flipside against Dignitas. Flipside starting off on the CT side on Mirage. And we still have... No, we don't have the footstep glitch anymore. The CT's going for the aggressive play down into middle, checking that out, and it's obviously a retake play by Flipside. The terrorists will advance into the A bomb site, or more or less uncontestedly, but the CTs don't have more than one player in CT spawn. That's a place that the terrorists need to control if they want to hold on to the C4. It's going to be really hard for them to defend themselves from the CT's retake, as there are two players coming in from CT spawn, two from Connector and one from CPL. Now the Molotov draws AZ out of his position. Good frag by Simple to open it up. MSL tries to follow it up, but just doesn't get the head removed off of Simple there, who's dancing around on the stairs. Nico and Markelov then exchange blows. Simple and Fix will quickly make it a 1v4. Pimp is alone, the bomb is being defused already, and as I said, if the terrorists don't control CT spawn, it's going to be really hard for them. Usually the CT, or the pistols in general, you have to play the position as well, and the terrorists just can't hang around in the open on the A bomb site, so they have to retreat into main A over here or over here, and an A apartments over here, and the CTs can use their bodies to defuse the bomb and cover each other by just sealing off those angles. Now Flipside with Blade and the FAMAS opening up into this second round of the second map. I have to adjust the score in a second. Give me a second. There we go. But nice and easy anti-eco round by Flipside. Thanks to the bomb plan that Dignitas failed to pick up in the first map on Inferno, they now have rifles. And Kierby goes for the Galil, MSL with the Galil, and we do have the footstep glitch again. I'm sorry for you not hearing the footsteps, but it kind of feels like they are Night Riders. Night Riders through the sky. Simple Night Rides into A apartments and takes out Kierby together with his teammate who was still around there. I believe it was Fix who accompanied him, while Flipside is getting back onto the B bomb site where Dignitas will probably end up attacking. They send one into the ladder room just to check it out, and World Edit picks up a good shot onto MSL, follows it up onto AZ. Great job by World Edit, and Markelov with 2 frags makes it a 3-0 scoreline. Flawless win by Flipside in this first rifle round against Dignitas. Maybe Flipside have finally gotten themselves the momentum back, as they were really fading away on the terrorist side on Inferno. They had so many chances, and I don't know what went wrong. They didn't get the entry frags. That was a big factor for Flipside on Inferno. Dignitas had Nico, who repeatedly picked up those kills, and he made it look so easy for the terrorists. Now Simple picks up the first, he racks it up with a second, then Blade steps it up with the FAMAS, and there is one from above. He fails to get the frag, but Blade reaches out from his grave and just gets hold of the ankle of AZ. And he won't let him escape with his life. 4-0 now in favor of Flipside. Dignitas on another rifle round though. And now the terrorists need to kick it off. They need to win a round. Otherwise Flipside might get into a roll and into the mindset of, yeah, come on, let's now just punch them. Just throw them down on the floor. Roll over with them. Make them a little bit dirty. And then just slit their throats on the floor. It is going to be a decent matchup, that's for sure, as Dignitas is trying to fight back. Pimp picks up 2 kills on B apartments, and this opens up the B bomb site completely. Well, that it is still around, but he needs to watch out. If he goes down and gets caught in a crossfire, this could turn out really awkward for the CT squad. MSL quickly turns around, 90-degree shot onto World Edit, who had the first chance, and he should have picked up that kill, but he didn't. And now Dignitas winning a flawless round. The two teams will trade blows back and forth. The Danes are back in the game, and they could potentially force the CTs onto a forced buy in the next one. Obviously, depending on how many weapons Flipside save. But this could turn out to be the breaking round for the Ukrainians. Somebody lagged, but I don't know if that lag is still there. Seems to be gone as the pause is gone as well. Flipside with a three-man stack on the A bombs, and nobody's peeking into middle. And it seems to be the right decision to make, but Pim makes the right decision, sprays down two players. Once again, he's the guy to open it up on the CTs. This time it's on A apartments and not on B. But Kierby pushes through. The smoke catches Blade completely off guard. Marklov and World Edit are the last man, but wow, Kierby wants to really force it now. He just pushes through everything. Gets rid of another one, and World Edit is the last man standing for the CTs. The bomb is already planted. World Edit tries to warm up some rice from the day before and just tries to cook something in the kitchen as he's sitting on the plate, kind of serving for the terrorists. Now they're coming in from both directions, one from behind, one from the front, or if you see it from World Edit's perspective, one from left, one from the right. And they will have the right timing to just pinch him in that corner. The flash pops. Well, it goes for the no-scope through the flash, but Kierby with the triple kill makes it 4-2, removes the AWP, and makes the CTs hit that very hard spot where they have to decide to either get two rifles or two somethings and then maybe go for an aggressive move, something like that. But, you know, Flipside is Flipside. They might do that. But they are no Hellraisers, so I don't think they will go for that just now. It's probably better for them if they give that round to Dignitas instead of ending up with a halfway force buy, whatever, with almost no nades and almost no equipment, 2 or 3 pistol players. And if they should lose this round, they would be maybe double saving even. And even if they win the round, they would still be hurt in the second to follow it up. So Dignitas would have 2 chances to come back and just spring back out of their box. So Kierby is fixing his sister, or rather the ping, as his sister is downloading something in before my Kierby's sister or something like that. We had that last time. With Chris J, who just taunted the other team. I think it was Chris J, Mousesports against Property. Yeah. Was it Property? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, Kierby just trying to fix his ping. Well, let it go in for a small break there. Let's see how long they take to get their players back. This gives us the time to talk a little bit about the upcoming games, as I think the loser of this game will meet Hellraisers in the lower bracket. And we have another game coming up at Thursday, the 11th of June. Will be the next game in the upper bracket. I can bring that up in a second as well. Give me a sec. There we go. So this is the upper bracket. We've got lead. SK actually managed to win against Hellraisers and then take it against Property. So we will see Property against SK coming up at Thursday. And at Friday, I will cast a BenQ show match between Nihilium and Liquid, I believe. So make sure to follow my Twitter account to just stay up to date to all the broadcasts that I will host. Actually, I recently and I will regularly cast on Dailymotion, something that a few people keep asking me about, you know, why are you streaming on Dailymotion and all that? it's because they are partners of the 99 Damage Arena, and they will obviously build up their own streaming site. They just recently started that, and they want to have feedback, so there is no better way to get feedback than to ask a streamer. So the 99 Damage guys and I will give Dailymotion the feedback, and they will allow us to host a tournament on that website. Other than that, the Go Champions League has $30,000 up for grabs. 15,000 will go to the first place. And we've got the two big names, Navi and Virtus Pro, competing. They are waiting for their opponents in the semi-finals of the upper bracket. In the lower bracket, however, we have Hellraisers waiting and Gamers 2 waiting. So there are quite a few interesting matchups coming up, especially if we get closer and closer to the finals, which is kind of logic, right? But other than that, we had a really close season with so many one-to-one draws. I believe that you have probably witnessed that a few times. All the people keep asking me if the skins will get returned or something like that. So we had so many series go one-to-one and tit for tat, you know. It's really amazing to see teams get so close to each other skill-wise that it's just not really easy to determine which team is in which tier right now. Obviously, there are a few obvious choices, but in the kind of subpar, sub-top kind of tier 2, you know, tier 2.5 maybe, on the step to tier 1, there are a lot of teams that are basically the equal skill, and it just depends on one individual player at the day was not on shape or not on point, and then somebody else on the other squad stepped it up. Or, for example, like today, certainly a small factor in this game is the stand-in, is Fix for Flipside. Even though he did do a good job, not taking away anything from him, I still believe that having a stand-in actually doesn't hurt your CT play as much, but it does hurt your terrorist play. And it was easy to see that on Flipside. They weren't able to take the first frags, and they just crumbled on those 4v5 situations. They maybe got themselves a good shot at coming back into the round, but then they have lost too much HP and too much equipment, so they couldn't hold on to the bomb or to the bomb site, or couldn't even get in there. So that was really well played by Dignitas on the CT side. On Inferno, let's see if they can get themselves a few more rounds on the terrorist side here on Mirage. And Flipside will do some kind of a Hellraisers move. They have an AWP for Simple. Let's see where he takes it. He takes it to middle and tags MSL straight away as the pause gets removed. We head into this game deciding round, more or less. Dignitas with a nice double kill by AZ, opening up on the A bomb site. Putting down the bomb is Care by getting rid of his sister and the lag. And the CTs will probably try to retake a little bit, or, you know, just try to set up a few exit frags. It won't happen for World Edit to try to sneak through the smoke. Then Simple collects one onto Pimp. But it's a 3v2, as I said, no defuse kit on the CTs. They will save whatever they have. Marklov had gotten himself an AK, and he will join his teammate on the run. And we are like, what is it called? Thelma and Louise, I believe. Markelov and Simple running away from the terrorists. Would be a good road movie, but Simple gets taken out by Nico, and Markelov doesn't jump over the cliff, but you probably haven't seen the movie, so why am I still getting onto that? 4-3 in favor of Flipside. One round between the two teams. Dignitas with a good streak and a good momentum. Right now, Flipside is the team to shut them down again. And it's once again Simple taking the AWP. We have seen World Edit take it a few times already. And Simple is definitely the stronger one. And I think today he is on fire. On top of that, Dignitas building up their strategy on the B apartments. Well, that it is there, and Markelov is running to help his teammate out a little bit. Let's see what Well that it can do in this situation. Markelov hoses down the first. Careby gets a trade, but Well that it with the 1-for-2 trade inside the bomb site, hops around, changes his position, completely fools Pimp into believing he's at the bench, and it was not the case. Well, that it took him out. Now it's AZ alone against the rest of the CTs, and it won't happen. Well, that it did a headshot, makes it 5-3 and keeps Flipside alive. They now gain some space to breathe, even though it's still crammed in there and they still can't really fill up their lungs with air. They got themselves the step away from the wall. Now they are still with the backs against the wall, as Dignitas have one more rifle round to come up. But then they will, oh well, they could actually get a second. So a third weapon round by Dignitas is possible, depending on the bomb plant and if they fancy a force buy, you know, 2 weapons, maybe a weapon drop, something would be possible for Dignitas. Now Blade drops the first terrorist on middle, as Kjaerbye gets taken out. No, actually it was not a middle. And the T's once again building up the strategy through middle and then heading towards the B. Bombs are when Nico picks up Markelov with a cheeky boost, something that you would never expect in that situation. Great play by Dignitas, now opening up B bomb site and forcing the CTs on a rotation. Now the Danes would perfectly played if they push through window like Blade expects them to. And MSL is there, but MSL gets caught off guard. Blade with the kill. Now he tries to recapitalize on his position and try to get some control onto middle, but AZ is there, shutting him down, forcing him away, and Blade doesn't fancy giving away that one-man advantage and doesn't want to push out stupidly. Now he draws out AZ though, and AZ with the double kill once again. Dignitas can always rely on him to pick up those frags, as Nico was looking for the one frag onto Simple. He just quickly snapped onto World Edit and then still made it happen on Simple. So if you have a frag on the silver plate picking up, you still can turn around and pick up some more in the aftermath of that. 5-4 now, Dignitas staying in the game and forcing Flipside on a full save, except for the pistols that they upgrade. It's just a small investment. P250s and Deagles across the board, except for Simple, who's got a 5-7. But the Danes have the chance to draw this game at 5. And this is going to be really cringy for Flipside, as they already lost their first map. The map pick of Dignitas though. So now they are on their own map and they are still on the receiving end. AZ and MSL getting one frag each. Blade going down to Pimp from B Apartments. Pimp getting himself another one. And Kjaerbye in some trouble, catching the head. But Fix is down and it's 5-5 now. Dignitas with a really good streak. 7 frags for Kjaerbye, 7 for Pimp, 6 for AZ and Nico, and MSL down to 2. But well, if your squad performs like that, you're not really needed until you are. MSL is at the moment not necessarily needed, so we will see if he's able to step it up when he's needed. And that's always the key. Sometimes you can underperform without any harm to your squad, but sometimes you need to perform, otherwise your squad will lose. Now the CTs need to perform in this rifle take by the terrorist. Simple and Flipside will just mop up three frags on the terrorist while the bomb is going down. Pimp is covering his teammate with a double and draws it back. The terrorists are still alive, and Pimp now actually switches up his position, checks out the back of his teammate, and Nico will just hold on to that bomb alone for now as Pimp comes in from A main. He wants to keep the CTs from pushing his teammate, but one CT is already there. It is World Edit with the 5-7, disposes of Nico. Pimp with a headshot on the first, but Markelov is on top of him and sprays him down. And they need to pick up a defuse kit if they can't find it. Oh my god, such a bummer for Flipside. They don't have a defuse kit. Markelov was looking for one, but the bomb was ticking too fast, and even if he had picked up one, I highly doubt that he would have made that defuse, as he had to travel back to the bomb, expend 1 or 2 more seconds, and then the bomb would probably be too far gone. So Flipside win potentially or almost win the round, but the bomb blows up and Dignitas make it 6-5. But what a good retake by the CTs that was. On the other side, Dignitas with Pimp and Nico holding on to the bomb did a very good job in a 2v5 actually. So it was even better by the Danes compared to Flipside's retake, which was successful but not successful enough. MSL now opens up into middle. with the kill onto Blade and was actually in underpass. Blade was trying to get some information for his squad as they are desperate right now. They are reeling. They need to get themselves something on the board to cheer themselves on and get themselves back into the game. Markelov though is forced back into the deeper parts of the B bomb site, and World Edit is still around, so the two A defenders are completely cut off from their teammate. Simple is retreating into CT spawn alley already, while AZ picks up the kill onto Fix, who was left alone in balcony. I mean, how can you abandon one of your A defenders like that? Pimp goes to work on Markelov from B. World Edit gets one back, but Kierby already closed out Simple, and then Nico shoots World Edit in the cheek of his back. 7-5 in favor of Dignitas. Everything is working for them right now. Not only their own gameplay is right, but Flipside do a few mistakes right now. It seems like they are not communicating like they should right now. I mean, Fix was over here and Simple was there, so they could have covered each other, but Simple abandoned position, went back into CT spawn while two CTs were still in the B bomb site. It was a very, very weird play, to say the least, by Flipside. But other than that, what are you supposed to do when you've got two players in A and they are one in balcony and one in CPL? There's not much that you can do to help each other, other than just trying to go for a few frags. Fix and Kierby now with the first trades inside the A bomb site, and Simple is moving around right in front of the terrorist, doesn't pick up those frags. Now it is Fix to hold on, but he's going down as well. Once again it is Dignitas, even though they have a team kill courtesy of AZ onto MSL. It is once again Dignitas taking the steering wheel in their hands, and they're just running away with the scoreline right now. It seems like, well, that it still has some fight left in him, but he's down to 3 HP and he will probably try to get his weapon to the next round or get some more frags out of there. As AZ spots the barrel of Markelov, he turns around to shoot World Edit and then finishes off Markelov with that headshot. AZ is on fire right now, completely nuts. Even though he's sitting on 8 frags, he did have so many sick kills in this matchup already. Just astonishing to watch him. Pimp on 12 kills though. He won 2 rounds on his own basically. And on the other side we have Blade with 9 and Simple with 9. Fix is currently having a hard time, but not as hard as MSL with 4 and 3, the 2 bottom feeders of their squads. Simple now has the information in the force by for Flipside. It's the second last round of this first half. AZ with the first frag, AZ with the second. Simple answers with a double of himself, but Kierby puts him down, makes it a 3v2. Markelov and World Edit on the rotation. They are close by already, but the terrorists have one backstabber still in middle. And World Edit can't push the bomb unless he has everything under control. Now he did take out Kierby, but Nico with the answer, making it a 2v1. And well, Pimp already knew that World Edit was around the corner, just had to wait until he exposed himself. 9-5 on the terrorist side on Mirage. It is a huge scoreline for Dignitas. And Flipside with the last buy in this round. Dignitas feeling very good about their performance. They're actually not going cocky and not buying 2 AWPs or something like that. They stick to what is working right now. And even though it didn't work as good as the rounds before, they are still having a really good time on Mirage. Blade with the second opening frag for the CTs. And Kierby is working through the smoke. He might catch Fix, but at least he heard Fix. Now he could go for the spray through the floor, but he's not doing that for now. Finally, he did dispose of Fix while Blade gets out on top of Pimp in middle. It is a 2v4. The terrorists could still make the CTs work for their money in this round, even though it seems like the CTs have won it. The terrorists have CT spawn alley under control, and World Edit is walking into Kierby, but he's prepared for that. Nico is the last man standing. He does have one nade, but not much else to work with. So the CT is already looking for him, and Blade will pick him off. 9-6 in favor of Dignitas. Small consolidation that the CTs managed to win the last round after giving away 6 rounds in a row to the terrorists. Something that should never happen to any CT team on Mirage. I know you can have a hard time sometimes, but at least after 3 rounds you should be able to pick yourself up again, and then, you know, you have to have somebody step up. And it would have potentially been this round that could have changed the game, but as I said before, Markelov and who was it? Simple, Markelov and Simple were not able to win the round. They were simply too late or didn't have the defuse kit. Now Flipside on the terrorist side on the pistol round. Dignitas holding on, then have an aggressive setup right there. MSL is close and personal to the terrorist. MSL and his banana losing the fight against Blade, who just took him out with the water elemental. 9 HP remaining for Blade. The terrorist on the push to the A bomb site. Markelov trying to keep the CTs busy with his Tech 9. Goes down to Pimp and Simple with the knife kill onto Nico. 2v4 in favor of the terrorist though. And that knife kill is just stinging a little bit on Dignitas. They are still in the round. Kerby though is taken out now. And Pimp is the last man. He has a headshot for Simple, just to take revenge for his teammate, but Fix with the Tech 9 will collect himself a kill and make it 9-7. So Flipside lose a player, and now they, well, I don't know what happened. Him doesn't want to wait, and it seems to be a back authentication error, even though I didn't see the it's kind of weird. Didn't see well that it dropped. It's kind of weird. Usually you have that small message that at least tells you the reason, but Pim kind of implies that they will lose this half and lose this map. Already delayed enough if we go to a third map. Blade is definitely trying, and Flipside have the pistol round in the back, so it should be possible for them to string a few rounds together and then draw this game potentially at 9 each, depending on how risky Dignitas will play it. And the Flipside squad is definitely not out of this matchup yet, even though Dignitas did do a very good job on their terrorist side on Mirage to make it as easy as possible, more or less. They could have even made it 10-5 on the terrorist side, which would be a crushing defeat for Flipside. But luckily for the Ukrainian, or for the CAS squad, they were able to get this last round on the board. And that kind of saved them some room to work with, you know. On the terrorist side, you don't expect to win every single round that you play, so you expect your strategies to fail once or twice just because the CTs had a very quick rotation or were unexpectedly aggressive, or they caught you with all the nades in the hands in A main, for example, when the terrorists build up the A execution over here and then a CT pushes in there, it takes down those two players. It's a 4v3 or a 5v3 in the worst case, actually. So you expect those things to happen to you, and the more rounds you have on your CT side, the more rounds you can afford to lose because of those circumstances on your own terrorist side. And if it would have been a 10-5 in favor of Dignitas, Flipside of course would have lacked that one round that might be the difference in the long run of this matchup. And it might only be one round, but it feels more than it actually is, you know. Flipside is now able to draw the game by winning the pistol and make it 9-9, and then it is, your brain just connects differently to those things. If it's 10-5, it is two numbers for your enemy, and it seems bigger and larger. Of course, the lead is larger as well, but it's all mind games. And if you only have a 9-6, you think you're closer. And it is actually the case that you're closer, but it is feeling way closer than it actually is compared to the 10-5. But with a 10-5, you can make it 8-10 if you win the pistol. Whereas if you have a 9-6, you can draw the game with a pistol, which then makes your mind realize we're still in this game, and that's when the CTs start to feel the pressure, even though they should realize that they themselves won the pistol, for example. Even though it wasn't the case in this one, even if the terrorists won the pistol themselves, it is pulling a strain on their brain. And that's obviously what Flipsid tried to do. They tried to put Dignitas under pressure, and World Edit is back with the account of Jonta. At least if... Yeah. So it is probably World Edit. World Edit in the disguise of the coach Jonta joining Flipside right now, as he had VAC authentication error, and Flipside with the rifle round now AWP on simple already. I think if he's that confident with the AWP, he should work on his rifles as well, so that he's as confident with the rifles as he's with the AWP. But a bomb will go down uncontestedly. The CTs try to get a few exit frags and then get themselves some more rifles for the next round to work with, but simple with the first kill onto Nico already. 4v5, the CTs are set up quite nicely, but Blade is slipping through their fingers. He picks up one onto Kierby. Now the terrorists try to exit, and there's AZ waiting close by. 5-7 in hand. MSL picks up one frag in the meantime, and AZ just spraying away, picking up one kill, fixes Stone to low HP, and Pimp will actually pick up the double in this anti-eco and make it really expensive for Flipside, especially as they had purchased an AWP, even though Simple didn't have armor. It is a really big investment. Dignitas now have scented some blood, as AZ almost made his teammate bleed and went for the straight buy. FAMAS for MSL, M4 for Pimp, 5-7 for AZ, Scout for Nico, and MP7 for Kierby. On the other side, the terrorists tried to keep the CTs from getting themselves into the driving seat again with that 3 rifles and 2 SMGs. MSL and Pimp though with the first frags. Now Kierby will see some action on... But Fix makes up for that. Disposes of Pimp in the back of the bomb site, makes it a 2v3. The bomb is yet to be planted. Markelov is looking for some more CTs, and they take the chance, hop through the window. AZ is there to capitalize on Fix, and Markelov in a 1v3. He picks up the first. He knows where the second is coming from. MSL catches a bullet to the head. It's a 1v1. Nico with the scout in his hand and a 5-7, drawing Markelov down to 31 HP. Markelov walking around the corner, and Nico just waited for him to do that. Great job by Nico, winning that 1v1 situation against a seasoned player and winning the eco round for Dignitas, or rather the force buy for Dignitas, making it 10-8 and keeping Flipside at bay. They are like dogs behind a fence. They are barking really loud, but you can simply walk past them and you don't have to fear at all, as they are not able to jump over that fence and draw the game. Dignitas is now in control of this matchup, but Simple picking up the first. It almost looked like he could have picked up both at the same time, but it's not going to happen. 4v5 nonetheless, and I believe the rifle is dropped down below, so Markelov is probably trying to get his hands on that rifle, but they are unlucky enough to face off against AZ. Simple on the rotation. In the meantime, Jonta, aka World Edit, who had to switch accounts, is waiting in middle, and Kierby hoses down the first player. Another one goes down to the nade of Blade, but wounded by Kierby, by the nade of Pimp actually. And a 4v2. Fix and World Edit are trying to get the bomb and then plant it, at least to get some additional money, but the CTs are there with 2 players. They will probably deny that entry if World Edit doesn't pick up that AWP and picks up a few frags. With that, he goes down. Then Kierby having some trouble on the spray control. 18 HP remaining, tries to stay away from the action and flashed Fix majorly. Fix under some pressure, and he goes down to Kierby's USP in the end. Dignitas pick up the 11th round and have a 3-round lead right now. Flipside on the bye, but it's getting really tense for them. If they lose a few more rounds, Dignitas will probably lean back a little bit and then just cruise through this matchup. 16 kills for Blade, 15 for Simple. On the other side, we have Pimp with 20 frags, 14 for Kierby, and 13 for AZ. And Pimp was not only one of the factors for the terrorists on for Dignitas on the terrorist side, but also in this eco round, in the second round of the second half. He managed to pick up 2 kills and made it so expensive. Now Nico racks up a few frags from back together with his teammates. They close out that A push, but Fix is fighting back with his AK. Well, that it is coming around with the bomb to the B bomb site, however. And Fix will be abandoned on A. Kierby picks him up. Now the CTs are probably figuring out that the bomb was nowhere to be seen, so it's probably on the B bomb side, right? And that's where, well, that it will plant it as the CTs come in with the rotation. They need to wait for each other to not make it single 1v1s, otherwise it could get really ugly for them. Well, that it is waiting for them to show up, and he's not trying to go for single 1v1s either, so they have the chance to encircle him, and he gives them the chance to close him out rather easily. Maybe he should have stepped out and just tried to get a frag somewhere instead of waiting for them. He probably expected somebody to be a little bit too impatient. And the bomb was ticking quite loud already, but Dignitas was there just in time and make it 12-8. But at least the bomb was planted, so the terrorists might be on a buy in the upcoming round and make it as tiny as a streak for Dignitas as possible. But the Danes build up their economy right now. They have 4k on 3 players basically. Okay, Nico is more on 3k than he is on 4k. But the Danes are building up the momentum and just, you know, they faced off against Flipside on the more or less underdog role, even though I thought them to be almost as equally strong as Flipside, maybe even a little bit stronger. Then I accounted for the previous matchups between them, and I realized, well, even though I did think both teams are equally as strong, Flipside seems to be better against Dignitas. But now Dignitas proves me completely wrong in this upper bracket quarterfinal of the Go Champions League. If you just tuned in, Dignitas have won the first map 16-10. It was Inferno, and now they are looking at Flipside's map pick with a 12-8 lead, possibly a 13-8. But Markulov comes up big with a headshot off his P250. Nothing that Kierby can't resemble with his M4. And it's a 13-8. Now 5 rounds lead for Dignitas. It can quickly melt on the CT side. As you see, their money is looking not too bad, but they can still be forced to save within 2 or 3 rounds, depending on how many rifles they get saved. And like that, Flipside could win those 3 rounds. They need to win those 3 rounds first, and then make them save, or maybe even double save. And as quick as that, we've got a 13-13. It wouldn't be the first time that I see something like that happen. Double scope setup, well that with the auto scope, and Simple with the AWP in middle, looking for his first pick. And it's Nico inside the smoke, firing off a few shots, keeping the terrorists at bay at first, and then retreating back into the A bomb set to reset his aim and his scope in the window. Flipside is waiting for that to happen. They have control of middle right now, thanks to Blade and company pushing forward. But they are still waiting for one of the CTs to make a mistake of peeking out and going for some information. And now the terrorists have ladder room under control. Blade is there to take out Nico, but Blade and AZ once again, it's Blade closing out AZ as AZ took out Markulov. It's a 3v4. Now Blade is down to 9 HP though, and he needs to watch out to not walk into some sort of flames that could be tossed at him courtesy of Pim. And so he backs off, takes the bomb to the A bomb site from A main, and lets his teammates wait for him to make that execution happen. As soon as he's around, Fix will open up onto MSL. Good first frag, but Pimp is still around. He's the hero of a few rounds already. He picks up 2, but World Edit picks Kierby up, and Blade will dispose of Pimp from behind. So good job by Flipside. In the end, they keep themselves alive in a precarious situation. They avoid being, you know, just shut down completely. And now they have a round to work with if they get those 3 magical rounds to force the CTs on a save. Actually, it's only this round left, as there were no guns saved by Dignitas in the previous one. Now they are starting off nicely with Care by picking up Blade and 2 scopes, World Edit and Simple now, they are fed up with everything. They want to have those kills. They are not fooling around anymore. Flipside once again building up through middle, and Markelov gets sent into the apartments to check that out for a possible informational play by the CTs. Fix is on the outskirts of the A bomb site, and the CTs have AZ in middle being picked off by World Edit. And if you wonder why World Edit is called Jonta, it's because he had to switch accounts because of a back authentication error. And he came back just after that. MSL holding on to A apartments. Good shot onto Fix, who just came there. You know, it was a little bit obvious that he comes from one of those entries. Markelov, though, takes out MSL, and Pimp in the back of the bomb site. No, it's actually Nico missing that shot. Pimp, though, mops up Markelov, and it's a 2v2 thanks to Simple's refrag. The bomb is not planted yet. The CT's on the rotation already. They have Kierby coming in from CT spawn. He might catch Simple getting away as Simple jumps around. Kierby fires with his M4. He doesn't finish him off though. 6 HP remaining for Simple. Now World Edit is there to support his teammate a little bit and try to keep him alive as long as possible. Simple with the no-scope onto Kierby. It's a 1v2 now. Pimp is still alive, and he disposes off Simple. World Edit in A main. He gets that tag onto Pimp's leg and follows it up with another shot. Great job by World Edit, but Pimp once again kept his squad in this round and almost won it actually. So Dignitas are a very scary squad right now. They have, you know, as I said, I expected Kierby or Nico to, or maybe even AZ to step up, but this time it is Pimp doing the job for his squad. 25 kills for him. Kierby, the youngster, on 18 and 19 on Blade, 18 for Simple. Dignitas now on the save round that Flipside was working for so long, and Simple picks off AZ to start it off nicely for the terrorist squad. The underneath the balcony gets flushed out by a good Molotov cocktail. Blade and Fix are there to capitalize on that, and the terrorists, the CTs are decimated too. Kierby, who is in underpass currently, looking for a kill on B apartments where nobody is hanging out, so he needs to walk a long distance until he can face off against any terrorist, and that's probably what he's trying to do with his P250. He wants to get his hands on at least a terrorist to shoot at. You know, he wants to have some fun in this round. If he can't pick up the round, at least maybe get a cheeky headshot on somebody, make him mad or something like that. You know, after all, it's a mind game. And it's not going to happen for Kierby though. He looked at all the places that were available to him and he didn't spot anyone. So the bomb will blow up, and Flipside draw this to a 2 round lead for Dignitas. The CTs are back on a bye, and we have another pause coming up. This time you don't have any ping problems, but Blade is getting DDoS, he says. Or maybe it is a very convenient DDoS that makes Flipside pause the game and come back with a really good strategy in their back and with relaxed players. So it's not Blade that is getting DDoS, but obviously maybe Simple, Fix, or World Edit. I don't know yet. But he has to reset his router and then he will get a new IP, so it's probably going to be a few minutes. Let's take a lengthy look at the statistics though. 25 kills as I said for Pimp, who is performing really well today, especially on there is World Edit dropping from the server, especially on Mirage right now. 18 for Kierby, who is not 18 yet, I believe. He is still very young. Don't be afraid though. If you're older than 18 and you want to go pro, just keep playing and keep believing, cause I was always told that there is no point in gaming, you know, why are you playing 8 hours a day, there's no point in doing that and all that. And I was still very young, but my parents and my siblings along with them tried to make me stop, and I said, you know, you get to know people from all over the world. Even though I'm still young, I can also speak English fluently already when I was quite young, so I was socializing with different nationalities. It was a lot of fun, and I got to know a lot of people from Germany, for example. You know, you can always visit some people in Berlin, in Cologne, or whatever, so you always have connections around the world. Whenever you want to travel, you can just ring some of your old teammates or something like that, and he will probably just give you a couch for 2 or 3 days, and that's enough to take a look at a decent city. So they didn't understand that, and they said, ah, you're never gonna earn money with that. And now when I visit my parents, I tell them, or rather my mother, I tell them, you know, I tell her, you know how much money they get now? They win $100,000 for the biggest tournament. And she's like, oh no, that can't be real. What has come, and you know, what has become out of, messing up my English there, sorry for that, but you know, what has humanity become more or less like that, a little bit more like a mother, you know, like regretting, but at the same time she's like, oh, how could that happen? How can they pay people for playing a game? And they just don't understand how the world actually works. It's advertisement, and it's companies backing us, and it's players being dedicated and people being inspired by their dedication. And that's what you can see right now. Flipsid is dedicated to that game. They tried to draw it back, but Dignitas is so dedicated that they are actually giving them a really hard time. And it would be funny to see the two teams trade maps, in the sense of Dignitas winning the first map that was picked by oh no, actually it would have been the Dignitas win their own map pick and Flipsid win their map pick, which would be back to standard, so it wouldn't be as interesting as I first thought. But yeah, well, that it should get back soon. And yeah, so all that gaming when I was young actually gave me the chance to be open-minded about other games as well, because I didn't always play CS. I played a lot of Unreal Tournament, for example, and I was open-minded and followed a lot of different games, and obviously CS 1.6, and I started with that at 2008 actually, when Na'Vi kinda got their big impact in the scene and got founded at the same time. So that's why I really like Markelov. I have to admit that, and I really like Na'Vi still, even though there are only 3 players left from that squad. But other than that, it gave me the chance to work myself into a new game and then actually become a shoutcaster, now trying to make that my main job and earn my living through shoutcasting, which I'm not able to do right now, but maybe in the future. So all of you, keep your fingers crossed for me to make my dream real. And if you ever want to start casting or something like that, just give me a call, give me a shout out, drop me a message on Twitter or on Twitch. I'm always happy to help out, because if there weren't any people that would have helped me out, for example, Anders, or I don't know if you still know him, Risk and his friend. Come on, somebody help me in chat, please. It was actually Foinks. Was it Foinks or something? So they helped me out, you know, setting up, and then I had to read a lot about OBS and all that. But it all worked out, and you have to start slow. Back in the day, I have to say, it was just drop me a message on Twitch if you want to contact me, or just hit social. And then you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. You can drop me messages all over the place. So what I wanted to say something. forgot about what I wanted to say originally. Yeah, wait, I will get back to it. But I think the game is going to start before I can finish my point. Yeah, my point was that it was easier to start back in the day because SLTV and ESEA all had their IP openly accessible for everyone, and so I started casting ESEA and SLTV. But you can still, for example, cast just your homies playing each other and all that. But let's get back to the game. It is Dignitas on the brink of giving this game away, I have to say. Flipside is in a good spot. They got themselves the chance to draw it to a close and make it a 13-13 and really make the CTs feel the pressure. They have, once again, 2 AWPs. Well, Edit is back after the break, after the DDoS. He resetted his router and now he has a new IP. So have fun trying to DDoS him again. I hope you won't manage to do it if you are listening to me. Big shout out to the DDoS allowing Flipside to talk about their strategy. I believe that could be better for Flipside than it is for Dignitas, as they have the initiative and the terrorists can make their strategy call a little bit more sophisticated, in my opinion. Simple and easy now with the first few trades over at the B bomb site. Pimp is in ladder room and he ambushes Blade, and there is, well, that it dropping again. But still, this round will go on as well, that it was already taken out. Simple is setting up his scope and that flick shot onto Nico. Great reaction. It's just so amazing to see him react in those situations, as well as every single AWP player probably. Fix though is not reacting too good to MSL, who ambushed him, and Fix just, you know, with both hands on the ladder, it's hard to shoot back. AZ then with the headshot onto Marklov. It's a 3v1. Simple is the last man standing, and he has to pick up the ace to make it happen for Flipside, but the time will run out and it's not going to happen anymore for Flipside. The CT is looking for that kill, and Flipside will, or Simple will not be able to take the CT down anymore, but still Dignitas with a 14-11 round, now 3-round lead. The terrorists still have enough money to buy up, so it's going to be another rifle round coming up before we can find a winner. Flipside has one more chance, at least 2 more chances to fight back into this game, and one of them will be a sturdy buy. I'm not so sure about the second round in case they should lose this one. And we are waiting for a stand-in now that World Edit disconnected again because of the DDoS. And it's definitely not a strategic DDoS, cause I think Flipside would have rather wanted to have the momentum, and momentum means you have a fluent game that you can build up some emotion with and stuff like that. And they weren't feeling too bad. They had a 3-round streak right now before the CT shut them down. But then again, the terrorists can easily force the CTs on another save if they win this one. So it's still up in the air. Flipside has still one open door. They need to get their feet in there and stop that door from closing, because Dignitas is pushing with all their force. They're trying to close that, almost said a bad word there, that freaking door on the terrorists that are trying to sneak through that. So, Flipside, with the full buy, as I said, Smike is the stand-in. I don't know Smike, but maybe you could educate the chat while I'm trying to shoutcast the rest of this game. Let's keep our fingers crossed that Smike is doing a good job for Flipside, as it's always hard to find your way into a game when you're just joining and the scoreline is as close as this one. You're probably really nervous, and then you're supposed to perform as good as you can for a team that you know and you would love to play for them. So it's a lot of pressure to work with. See if Fix and Smike can step it up for Flipside, because this is really unfortunate for the Ukrainian or slash CIS based squad. Dignitas in the driving seat right now, as even though they are on the brink of saving again, I believe that Dignitas is in the driving seat because of Smike and the pause, and that Fix is currently not too impactful. He has 10 frags, but I think Bondik would do a little bit better. Now he's getting up and taking down MSL. Nico goes down to Markelov close by. AZ still around the bomb site, but Simple has him covered. Great shot by Flipside. Good job opening up. And Smike didn't do anything as of yet, but now he drew the attention away from Pim, and Simple was able to capitalize on that. So it was a successful decoy play by Smike at least, and he gets an assist for that. So good job on the first round. I hope that he settles in time to make this game go to a third map, because I would really love to see a third map and then see how this all pans out. Dignitas on a save right now. The Danes want to have rifles for the next chance. Of course, they are now facing the reality of them giving away this lead and giving away the game, basically. Nico, though, with the first one. Smike picks up MSL with a straight headshot. Nico from below the balcony takes out Markelov through the wood, and a headshot onto Smike. Good job. AZ takes out Simple. Suddenly it's a 1v4, and Fix is taken out by Pim. 15-12 in favor of Dignitas. What a great job by them, clinching the win in this crucial round, shutting Flipside down when they were trying to pick up the momentum again. The CIS squad just gets shut in the face, or punched in the face, slapped in the face, whatever you want to call it. They get humiliated a little bit by Dignitas. Now 3 rounds for the match point, or to defend them from Dignitas winning it. Simple picks off Nico. Good job opening up like that for the terrorists, is giving them some hope. And as I said before, having hope is sometimes the most important thing that you need in a game like that. Pimp and Kierby, though, on the B bomb side working together. Pimp with the nade, and Blade is losing some HP. 64 remaining for him. He pushes through the smoke while Simple is pushing into middle. Kierby picks off Fix. Blade needs to step out of his cover, and finally he picks off Kierby, but there's Pim close by. He doesn't know yet, but AZ is coming in from window room, taking out Smike as Simple closes out MSL. It's a 2v2 situation. The CTs know exactly where Blade is. Pimp has spotted him and has heard him as well, and Simple is still trying to figure out. Blade with a straight headshot onto Pimp. This is still happening for Flipside. AZ, though, still alive for the CTs, and he is the guy to watch, but not anymore as Blade picks him off. 3 kills for the in-game leader, 13-15. Sometimes if you run out of teammates that you're used to play with, you just have to step it up individually, and Blade is doing a really good job of doing that. 24 kills right now, 25 for Simple. And on the other side, Pimp with 28 and 22 for AZ, who was not able, sadly, to make his stint in the previous round. Dignitas with 2 more match points. We have seen him, or them, pick up an anti-eco round or an eco round of their own already. So I won't call this a day too early. Fix with some trouble in A apartments, but picks off the headshot onto Nico while walking, actually. So good job by him, staying alive with 16 HP. Almost perished in battle and gave the CTs a good chance of, yeah, making it happen in this round, or at least making it expensive. Kierby was looking for the frag, but Fix already backed off, and now Flipside will push through middle and through A main, where Kierby is ambushing Smike. Good shot onto him. Simple runs into trouble, but then takes him out with a no-scope, I suspect. AZ is sitting inside the A bomb side, waiting for his prey to walk by, and he's got 2 rather low terrorists to work against, and Markelov and Blade with full HP. Let's see if Flipside will use their economy, their equipment, or not. No, Markelov will just jump in there and dispose of him. 14-15. Dignitas with 1 more chance to close this game out and win it 2-0. Or will Flipside take it to an overtime and kind of reset all the odds? Make it start with, I believe it's 16k and MR5. I would be really, really pumped for an overtime like that. But Simple seems to be not so pumped at all. He's actually falling asleep in spawn. Obviously, that's not falling asleep, that is being AFK. And I hope that we restart that round, because Simple is just standing there, and the terrorists will still make their move. They are not asking for something. They're opening it up. Fix and Blade with 2 kills, making it a 3v5 on top of everything. Now suddenly Flipside is in the game, as Markelov had to kill Simple to Markelov has to shoot Simple in the face to make the bomb drop, as it's not matchmaking. The bomb will not be dropped other than shooting your teammate. And now it's the CTs coming back at the bomb site. Markelov is the last man standing. He's got the C4 on the back, but he's got 3 CTs that try to keep him from planting it and winning it at the same time. And sadly for Simple, he's not able to reconnect and be there in time, so he's not spawning again. He's still dead. And as I said, we should restart this round, in my opinion. I hope the admins come to a conclusion in a second, as Markelov is still trying his best to clinch it and make it 15-15, take this game to an overtime. The CTs are actually checking out terrorist spawn right now, but only very defensively, looking for the kill. Now they will all join each other on the retake on the B bomb side. Markelov is tucked in the corner. He's got 2 flashes to defend himself with, and I don't know if this angle is so good for him. He's got the bench to work with, obviously, but the CTs will spot him really soon. He gets the headshot. No, actually, not a normal shot on the Kiabai, but Nico picks him off. And in my opinion, this last round should have been replayed. But it seems like both teams are content with the result. So, Flipside will not complain about the outcome of this round, even though Simple is really mad, obviously. He had a very good performance, but yeah, I think that's it. 2-0 in favor of Dignitas. We had 2 weird occasions. First time the server broke down on the first map, and now Simple disconnected in the last round when Flipside had a fair chance at drawing this game. But there's nothing that we can do about that. It seems like Flipside are okay with the result, so they take the loss. Dignitas will move on in the upper bracket and face off against their enemy. I believe Flipside has to face Hellraisers, and if I'm not completely mistaken, Dignitas will move on to take it against Virtus Pro. So make sure to tune in at Thursday when we have the second game, the second quarterfinal coming up between Property and SK Gaming. So thank you for tuning in, guys. I'm the Boo from Germany. This was the Go Champions League quarterfinal of the upper bracket between Flipside and Dignitas. Congratulations to Dignitas for moving on with a 2-0 win, 10-16 and 14-16.